what's our next topic? Are black men selfish when it comes to success?
Mm. Yeah, I had to pose this question because I realized, like, growing up, when I used to be like, yo, I see somebody with something like, yo, how you do that? Or, yo, how you get it? Or how you do this? Like, they always be secretive with how they get in it. I don't know what it is with our culture. Like, we just feel like if we on top,
Crabs in
you,
a barrel.
you got to keep it a secret.
Crabs in a barrel.
And it's so crazy because we don't think about the fact that we can build a whole empire of people doing the same thing. We just say, no, I'm gonna do all this myself and keep all this money myself.
So, can you elaborate a little bit
All right,
more
so
about
even
like what
with
black men being
success, yeah.
selfish with
So
success?
let's talk about even success. When you look at even politicians, black politicians,
Mm-hmm.
it just be them. They be like the token black guy. What when I spoke to this dude that worked at my job, right? He's Hispanic dude.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Yo, are you thinking about going to any other departments?" I'm like, "Nah, not really." And he's just like, "Yeah, I'm about to go into HR because I want to start recruiting more Hispanics."
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like.
You feel me? He's
Mm-hmm.
sharing his success with his people,
Yep.
and I just feel like when it comes to the culture, we don't do that too often.
That's such a cool thing that he said. Because actually, I had a conversation like that with someone a little while back. And that's exactly what she talked about. She's like, listen, when you get into your position, make sure that you look out for all the other black people, especially all the Haitian people coming up behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Men, women, it doesn't matter. Because it's important because we need representation,
Yep.
right? And so therefore, your colleague, your friend, or whoever it is asking you that question, um, or just letting you know, like, yeah, listen, this is what I plan to do. When I get into that position, I want to make sure that I recruit more Hispanics. He wants to see more representation
Yeah. And we're talking about
across the company.
down to earth representation,
Yeah.
not that bougie. I'm too good for you representation where you looking down at your own fucking people. You know what I mean? We're talking about representation down to earth where we like, yo, even though I'm in a higher position, we're still equal and you can get where I'm at too.
Yeah.
That type of representation.
Yeah. Um, I think that's a really cool thing to do, honestly, when you share the success. But I think we touched on it a little bit when we talked about some of the earlier topics. It's just a thing that's a part of our culture that unfortunately some black people don't want to share. Like they're just not with that mindset that they want to share or that they want to, like, we want to build. I don't think that some people get that far in their mind that we can actually, we as a people can actually build communities,
Mm-hmm.
right? We can build pockets, different pockets within all these different communities. It does, whether it be corporate, um, or just anything in
Yeah.
entertainment, in sports, or
But you know what part of the
whatever.
problem is too?
Mm.
Because I had it happen to me before. Like when you refer somebody and they fuck your name up,
So let's
like you
talk
don't
about
want to
that.
refer nobody no more. And that kind of hinders you opening the door for other people to be successful. You know
I'm
what I
so
mean?
happy you said that. Let's talk about that
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a firm believer that nobody can mess up my name. I
Well,
don't care if I referred you to the
well,
to the job and you
not to
didn't do
you,
well.
not to you personally, but the next reference that you refer, your HR department's gonna be looking at it like, the last one she referred was
Well, you know what?
So
That's on them, and that's closed-minded of them. Because ultimately, here's the thing: at the end of the day, I referred someone, right? However, I don't know. I don't ultimately know if they're going to do well in the role. I'm hoping. Obviously, I refer them because I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping that they'll do well, and maybe with the few things that I do know about that person, um on a personal note, I'm like, you know what, I think that you would do great here, and so I'm going to refer them.
hmm
Now if it doesn't work out, or they could be going through a time in their life, or some strange things are happening, whatever the case is, and they don't do well. I don't feel like that should have anything to do with my name. That's not messing up my name or reputation. So if I have to refer a new person, and HR wants to like look at this new person like, oh, well, we don't know because the last time
That's
she
right.
referred someone, it didn't work out. That's closed minded of them because. So what you're trying to say? Every person that I refer is just not going to do well? That's not true.
Man, it depends on who your HR person is, because that's exactly what they're gonna think. I worked in a lot of corporate jobs, and that's exactly what they think.
Well, shame on them. Shame on
Like,
them. And if that is the case, listen, if I truly did feel that vibe, then you know what?
well, that's just being black in America. Sometimes it's just those hurdles you gotta jump over. But
So why do we have to?
as far as like sharing the success, I think that's one of the things that hinders sharing, because you're afraid that next person is gonna mess it up, or you just got to the point where you work so hard, you feel like that next person has to work as hard as you to get what you got.
Yeah, well, who are you to say? First of all,
That's what I think is happening.
well, first of all, I feel like anybody can. Why is it that as black people, one person has to represent
Number
everybody?
one, we have to be number one
I'm not
all
with
the time.
I'm not with that mentality. Listen, I'm with the mentality. Listen, put your best foot forward for real, for sure. You want to always put your best foot forward in every situation that you're in, every opportunity that you have.
Hmm.
You want to put your best foot forward and put your heart and soul to it, into it. Give it 100%. That's it. Period. However, I don't believe that one person that I referred can tarnish or should be able to tarnish my reputation at this company, for one. For two, I most definitely don't believe that one person represents everybody. There's so many people who look like me who are not actually me. And it's not
Shisha,
fair because it doesn't work
it's
that
not
way with
fair.
other races.
It's not. But I mean,
And
we.
I'm not going to let it work
I.
that way just because I'm
y-
black. Or
Yeah,
because
but
I'm from the
that's just
Caribbean.
that's
No,
just. I think that's just part of. I don't know if it's different for men than it is for women,
I think
but
it's about the same when it comes to that,
yeah, but that's just something that it just happens. Like, it's just something that I mean, all black people live with discrimination all fucking day.
for sure.
And what you're talking about is you discriminating like me because of my references, basically.
Exactly.
But I think that's just what it is, because especially if you're dealing with people that don't or are not familiar with the culture, you represent what they think of the culture. And if you bring someone
No,
in
I
that is a
don't.
poor representation,
No, I
then
don't.
they
Because
going that's just how people think. They're closed minded.
that's too bad. That's too bad. And they should stop thinking that way.
That's what they talk about on the golf courses.
On the golf courses, you.
Telling you.
Ay, ay, ay.